your video tipping the show. I do.
Hello everyone, today I will be talking about why I don't think Insatiable is that bad. I don't think it's a work of art masterpiece either, but I don't think it's bad for the right reasons people are accusing it of being bad, if that makes sense. So first I'm going to talk about what I did not like about Insatiable, and then I'll talk about what I was pleasantly surprised by and actually enjoyed. But while I'm talking about this, I will be making slime to de-stress myself. A little ASMR action, not really. The first thing I did not like about the series is that I understand that Regina Sinclair was supposed to be an unlikable character. However, after she raped Brick, an underage high schooler, I was expecting her to not be used as sort of comedic relief. It kind of felt insensitive at that point, even though they have brought it up like that wasn't right of her to do. Brick has never said or expressed his thoughts on how he was basically manipulated by this older woman, and I did not enjoy that. They should have been more upfront about it, maybe have Brick say something like, wow, I didn't even realize, she really, that hurt me, as opposed to him being like, oh, it was my decision too, which is, again, an initial reaction that makes sense, but he never contradicted that in any way. And I know that this show has more of a satirical style, but I think with an issue like underage children being raped, regardless of whether or not they're in high school and they don't think they're children, that should be addressed in a more serious manner. And the character should not be appearing again in a, oh, I love the tampon invention that you made. Yeah, she's supposed to be ditzy, but it's not funny anymore after she rapes a kid. So I didn't understand that. I didn't really like that. The second thing I didn't really like, and this is a little bit more of a, I'm not as passionate about this point. This is more from a storytelling standpoint. Patty is not a good person, which I understand, but I would have liked to see more of Patty not being a good person in the flashbacks while she was a bigger girl. And I don't think this creates a stigma of thin girls are always mean, because they talk about it. They say, oh, Patty was really never good. I would have liked to see that more in the past too, because just having it now but not showing us seems a little bit weird. I'm not doing a recipe or anything. I'm just doing it by feel. That seems like too much. This is major spoiler, so if you have to click off, I understand. The third thing I didn't like was Patty's mom had so much character development, and then she left at literally the worst time, her daughter's birthday. And I understand that this was to back up Patty's kind of freak out at Bob later, but I don't think any person thinks like that. Even as irrational as Patty is, I can't imagine somebody who just brushes over the fact that oh yeah, my mom left, that's fine, but Bob is bisexual and cheating on his wife. That whole thought process made zero sense to me, and I didn't enjoy that scene. I didn't think it was well written. A small update before I continue. This is really bad. It's so gross, and it's so hard. Okay, so I actually looked up how to make slime now, and there is 100% more water involved than I thought there was. Now let's go on to what the video is actually about. And here's where the like and dislike bar are gonna look like they're fighting each other, because I am going to talk about what I liked about Insatiable. So here's where a lot of people are going to disagree with me. I do not think that this show was trying to portray fat people in a bad light. This is about a specific girl who felt like shit about herself before she lost weight, and she also felt shit about herself after she lost weight. Weight had nothing to do with the fact that she was a bad person. I think that a lot of people are taking the beginning flashbacks out of context because they think, oh, Debby Ryan in a fat suit, they're doing this to make it funny. An example of fat shaming in that regard is in Friends when Monica is in a fat suit. She's supposed to be comedic relief for nothing other than the fact that she used to be fat. But with this specific character, it was actually supposed to show the abuse she felt from the school. I don't think anyone watched those scenes where she was being called names and they were like, ha, this is funny. And that wasn't their intent either. It was very clearly not their intent. It was supposed to be uncomfortable and make you feel like, these kids are shitty. Like, I'm still not doing this right. This is looking a little bit better than before. I could see why it was taken out of context. I think that the biggest problem was the marketing team, because when I watched what they were saying in the trailers, I was like, this is bad. How is this a show? But then when it's put in context, you're like, oh, they're pointing out the hypocrisies in society, and it's supposed to be like really corny and really bad. Like, it's supposed to take things to the extreme. So I would say the biggest problem with people having misconceptions about the show is that the show is very weirdly written. It's very, very corny. And also because the marketing team just did a terrible job with advertising for this show. Like, genuinely, I wasn't even gonna watch it, but I was like, you know what? Maybe it was just bad marketing. And that's what I think it is after watching it. Because when you watch the previews, you think that they're almost siding with the bullies. And they're not. This is like not good, and I'm being distracted by how not good this is. Another thing that I thought was really bad about the trailers is that I almost thought that Patty was gonna thank the guy for punching her in the face. But quite the contrary, she was like, you hurt me, like you're an asshole. Another thing that I really liked about the show that other people are critiquing it for is the public's view on bisexuals. People are very nosy in how others identify themselves. Like, even when Bob was telling other Bob, I don't know their last names, but when Toupee Bob was telling Hot Bob, how you identify doesn't make any sense. And he's like, that's how I identify. I was like, that's like a really good moment that everyone's kind of skimming over and thinking like, oh, well, they think bisexuality doesn't exist. Like, no, that was one individual who had trouble accepting who he was because he was been repressing it for so long. And then after the fact, he was embracing it. So I have no idea why people are having so much trouble with that. Oh my God, I got slime on my mic. I don't know why people are having trouble understanding the fact that they're calling attention to the fact that people think these things and putting it in the dialogue of their show to show how messed up it is. I retweeted a really good tweet about it. I'm gonna put it here because that's kind of what inspired me, like, hey, yeah, people really aren't talking about that much. And then, this is looking kind of okay now. Okay, I'm gonna add food coloring to it later. Another thing that people are critiquing is the introduction of the LGBT club doing the car wash, which I was so confused. That was my favorite moment in the show. That was genuinely my favorite moment in the show. Yeah, you don't associate people who like lost a ton of weight to people who went through a transition. Obviously, those things are not the same thing. And they're not saying it's the same thing. It's just two people who are bonding over the fact that they are not completely comfortable in their own bodies yet. For different reasons, yes, but they were bonding over that, and they saw them both as beautiful, beautiful women. And I thought that was a really, really great moment, and instead people are turning it as they're saying that losing weight and transitioning is the exact same thing. Like, no, it's people who are not used to their new bodies and their new perception of themselves and maybe experiencing extreme body dysmorphia. So, like, yeah, it's not the same type, but still two people can bond over it and uplift each other. With that specific point, I think I saw it on like a Watch Mojo type of video, like where Insatiable messed up. And like seeing that, it just made me feel like people were like trying to find an issue with the show because of their first impressions of it. But please let me know what you guys think, because I am obviously a little biased because I was entertained by it, but I tried to have an unbiased opinion because at first I told you I saw the trailer and I was so not about it. I was like, this is going to be really problematic. No, my hands. I'm really not good at this. Let me show you how shitty this looks. It looks like a brain. I understand that doing this topic, like a lot of people have already talked about their opinions, but I genuinely haven't seen anybody whose opinions were like similar to mine. But, you know, this is pretty good. Let me try to do the ASMR with the shitty slime I created.